Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. We're back with some more Bestiarum models. The other day, I gotta say, I was super jazzed with how the Knight of Bells turned out that my brother printed. This came from Bestiarum Miniatures Patreon, and it was part of a set called the Crimson Grove Abbey, and I know my brother Percival enjoyed painting it so much, we both started thinking, hey, you know what, why don't we print some more of the stuff from that set? And let's just go hog wild and get ourselves a nice Dark Soulsian grimdark tabletop ready for the summertime. And so we did. We printed mainly stuff from that set, the Crimson Grove Abbey, which we'll show you in a second, as well as a couple of models that came from the Cult of Flesh set. So let me see here. We'll start off with the Deacon of the Crimson Grove. He is two parts. I haven't glued him yet, but you can tell he's just wonderfully disgusting. I don't know if that's like a tumor coming out of his backside. You can see his legs there. Is that all his stomach? I don't even want to know. There's like candles and junk stuck in it. So like I said, he's actually two separate pieces. The torso and then the lower half. And we'll keep our Knight of Bells there as a nice height suggestion marker. In case you're curious just how these guys stack up to other models that we have laying around, a modern WizKids human sculpt. I mean, he is a little hunched over, unfortunately. Let's grab our witch hunter friend here, along with a more modern GW human. So you can see size-wise, these are going to fit right in. He is on a smaller base, and just in case you guys are curious, if you've never seen any of the other heroes, there were a few heroes with earlier Bestiarum sets, and I'm hoping that the Knight of Bells is a hero as well. There were some that were part of the Corrupted Ambrosia set. I will be showing that off in a later set, because some of them are in the process of being painted, and some are in the process of being printed. Our Lion Man here is also a Bestiarum model, in case you're curious. Let's get all those non-Bestiarum models. There was also a female Lioness, just in case you're curious. Oh, and then there were like the two roided out Henshin versions way back when they first started. It's been a while. Along with the big, crazy Death Knight, which we'll show off later. So, getting back to the Crimson Grove Abbey, if you're going to have a Deacon, you're going to have some acolytes, which are these pyramid-headed looking things. It's like a cross between Pyramid Head and Voldo. I dig it. So there were a couple of poses of those. I guess if you wanted to get really creative, you could try kit bashing some together. Their bodies are covered in pustules, if you didn't notice that. They are not in the best of health. And then there's actually some of the pilgrims who come to visit. Yeah. There's a few skulls of these too. They're unique. In addition to those, we have the Elder Brothers, who are, well, they're skull-headed, I don't even know what, constructs or something? I mean, it looks like there's skin and flesh, but there's all kinds of like metal and non-living tissue in there. That is an intentional foot. You'll see he's got like a pillar there. Thought maybe it was a misprint. Nope, that's how it's supposed to go. The head is actually a separate part though. He's a pretty big dude. But he's not actually the biggest in the set. I haven't even printed the biggest one in the set. That would be the Hierophant, with its giant tumors and bells all over it. The biggest that I've printed so far is the Brother of Silence, who is very similar looking to our Knight of Bells. Let's get it a little zoomed out there. Oh, no sneak previews. So you can see he's taller even than the Undead Death Knight guy. You're just going to keep falling over. He actually isn't even glued yet. That's all just keep it imposed the way he is. And I have some blue tack there stuck on his arm. So He's an interesting one. You can almost probably get away with using him as like a powered up version of like our barbarian here had like his berserker form. Might be something interesting if you wanted to include that in a role-playing game. And then our guy that was trying to spoil things. This comes from the Cult of the Flesh. It was listed as a slammer, but I'm going to guess it was just a little typo, and it's supposed to be a slammer, considering he's got these big, nasty-looking mauls. He's barely on a 40mm base. Just about the same size as the Elder Brother, of which there are a couple poses as well. Now, since these month's Patreons, these sets have already come and gone, I will be putting a link both obviously to the Bestiarum Patreon, where there's always something interesting, and I mean their output has pumped up considerably from when they first started. The amount of variety of models, poses, everything you get, and also that you always have a discount code included if you are interested in purchasing any of these back catalog models. So in addition to our slammer there, we've got guys like snatchers, not catchers. He's got like a catcher, rat catcher type thing. And the cult had all sorts of cultist members that are actually in the welcome box. I don't have any handy, but then they have this great guy with his head stuck in a cauldron of blood or liquid of your choice. This is the Zealot. And the Prophet. So if you want some emaciated looking disturbing cultists, I mean, honestly and truly, you really can't go wrong with any of the stuff that Bestiarum produces. You also get some fun, twisted things like this. I don't even know what it's called anymore. It didn't even print right. And I think that adds to some of the charm of it. It's just so disturbing looking, this big old fatty. So yeah, if you dig the very Dark Souls, grim, dark, Morkborg aesthetic, I really don't think you can go wrong with anything from Bestiarum. And you know, if you have access to a printer, and if you don't have access, I know there's tons of people like on Etsy that offer up printing services. So the age-old excuse of, but I don't have a 3D printer, is getting kind of old at this point. There are options out there. I know when I first started looking into the 3D printed stuff, before I picked up my first printer, I was hopping on Etsy all the time. You can see some of my early videos where I was doing just that. There. Look for like some of the Artisan Guild ones. Those are some really early ones I did. But honestly, I don't think outside of maybe a very select handful of artists, sculptors, Patreons, companies, there's not a lot of other people out there that really have such a distinct and unified, disturbing look to the models that they make. And I mean, every month just seems to top whatever came first. I forgot this dude. I don't even know what set this guy was from. And I've got the guys, the hammers and the caskets on their back. I don't even know where I put them now. There's just tons of models out there. Do take a look. There's some really fun stuff. I absolutely recommend it. So check out those links below, and check out some of our other videos on Bestiarum stuff, or just 3D printing in general, because we've got hundreds at this point. So I will keep you entertained and occupied, I promise. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.